Good afternoon. Today we're going to be talking about prefix multipliers in the International Standard Unit and how they are able to manipulate and benefit larger or smaller numbers to the biggest degree. So, to start off with the International Standard Unit, we mainly work in these three components right here, and I'll get to that in a second. But if you think about a ruler, on one side of the ruler we have inches, and on the other side of the ruler we have centimeters. Well, centi, the first part of that, is one of those prefix multipliers that makes the meters and the centimeters small. So as you can see, meters right here is the base unit for length. So that's why we use centimeters to measure out the length of things. Kilograms, or particularly grams, is going to be the base unit for the mass, and seconds is going to be the base unit for time. Now, obviously, if you see this one's meters, it doesn't really have a prefix in front of it as a standard, but kilograms is the standard because that is just the way things work when you are squaring stuff. And then seconds, again, is how you go for time. Now, the convenience of this, like let's just say we have a million of whatever, a million chickens, a million eggs, and we want to reduce it or simplify it to two significant figures or two significant digits. We could use these prefix multipliers to not simplify, but just make it a more convenient way and a cleaner way of writing this number out. So instead of having a million written out, we could just write 1.0 times 10 to the 6th. And we know these by adding these prefixes. So over here is a list of positive prefixes, not going into the negatives like tenths, thousandths, millionths. So here we have, deca, which is 10 times, or 10 to the 1. Hecto, 10 squared. Kilo, which is what this is right here, kilograms. Kilo is 10 to the 3rd. Mega, 10 to the 6th. Giga, 10 to the 9th. And tera, 10 to the 12th. Now, as an example of converting something like a quantity of one of these numbers into something else, I'll have that example right here. So we are going to be putting 5 kilometers into gigameters. And I highlighted these values right here on my little chart. That way you can kind of see that we're going to be dealing with 10 cubed and 10 to the 9th. So to start off, we are kind of wanting to go for a ratio. That way it helps clarify and organize our thinking. So with that being said, 1 gigameter is going to equal 10 to the negative 6 kilometers or kilometers. So the way that you can kind of think about this is if you have a number and you are going bigger, that number is going to be getting smaller because you only have so much of it. Likewise, if I have a larger number and I'm going into a smaller number, I'm going to have more of that smaller number because I'm making something that was big into multiple pieces or reducing it significantly. Moving on, so here also it's going to be negative 6 times the negative 6 because, again, we're going backwards, so that's what the negative comes for in the exponent. But also, kilometers are not starting at 0 or 10 to the 1 or 10, which is a base unit. We're starting at 10 to the 3rd. So if I'm going from 10 to the 3rd to 10 to the 9th, that's why we are going to be moving 10 to the 6th or 6 decimal places over to the right to make the number smaller. So putting it into an equation, we're going to have 5 kilograms times 1 gram, or 1 gigameter, over 10 to the negative 6 kilograms is going to be equal to 5 times 10 to the negative 6 gigameters, or this is that number expressed long ways. So as you can see, you can kind of get a larger idea and a bigger picture of how writing this number into this would make it super easy writing it this way from 10 to the negative 6 instead of multiplying it out with all of these zeros in it. And again, this is going to be a decimal, a small decimal, because we are going from a number to a bigger number. And it's going to be negative 6, 10 to the negative 6, because you are starting at 10 to the 3rd, and you're going to 10 to the 9th. So hopefully that helps, and you can kind of get an overview of it, and you can kind of learn your base and your prefixes, and yeah, so that's that. Thank you.